What's up guys, Chris VA Travels here in downtown Fredericksburg, and I'm going to visit the Fredericksburg Presbyterian Church. And this was a viewer request. There's a guy that's been hounding me to come out to take a look at this church, and pretty nice church. And the cannonball, I think that's going to be decorative, but it just represents from when the church was shelled during the Battle of Fredericksburg. Yeah. Union guns on the Stafford Heights just across the Rappahannock River. Rappahannock River is just a couple blocks down. And yeah, so the church, as you see, was founded 1808. This building was erected 1833. And the church was originally at the corner of Charles and Amelia Street. Charles Street is going to be right up here. You take a right and you go down a few blocks. And it was actually, that land was owned by Hugh Mercer's daughter, a lady named Ann Patton. And yeah, let me go ahead and take a walk around. A nice wrought iron fence here. I don't know for sure, but most of the fences, or I'm sorry, the iron fences from the 1800s came from a guy named John Herkamp. Fredericksburg residents will be familiar with the Herkamp Park. John Herkamp, he was a German immigrant. He lived off of Hanover Street, not too far from here. And he owned an iron foundry and a tannery. So, yeah, and it's on the historic register. Pretty cool. Oh, I can hear an organ playing. All right, yeah, Flemish bond pattern right here. And it looks like this facade has been probably rebuilt since 1833. And yeah. Check out these lamps. Pretty nice, a Federal Eagle on the top. And again, great ironwork. All right, so we've got a map over here. And it looks like there's an education building in the back, parking lot. And church house right next door. Plenty of windows on that thing. Some dormers up top. And, all right, let me, yeah, on the register. Over here we've got a plaque in memory of Clara Barton. And Clara Barton, founder of the Red Cross, she nursed injured Union soldiers here after the Battle of Fredericksburg. And she was stationed at Chatham Manor, big Georgian mansion on the Stafford Heights again, right over there across the Rappahannock. And over here, St. George's Church. I'll make a separate video on this at another time, but this was attended by George Washington's mother, Mary. Let me zoom in on the bell tower. And yeah, pediments on each side, dental molding wrapping around. And trying to make out those faces. Originally, I thought they were Greek figures, but maybe they're colonial figures. When I watch this back, I'll be able to, I'll get a better look and know what they are. But yeah, I can tell you the original church bell was melted down by the Confederacy to make cannons. After the war, the Ladies Memorial Association of Fredericksburg, they met in the basement to raise funds for a new bell. They also raised money that went toward the Confederate cemetery a few blocks away. Pretty nice pediments on these windows. And yeah, let me keep wrapping around. In 1841, there were about 500 members, so pretty popular church. Oh, and right here we've got the old Fredericksburg Courthouse. I'll come back and make a video on that. Again, really nice fence. What is this down here? This fence restored to the glory of God by W. Wiley VIA in 1978. But all right, let me walk through here. And the education building would be over here. All right. The bell over at the St. George's Church. Okay, the same map. Over here, the French Memorial Education Building. Oh, so 1966. All right, just a little playground over here. Under this magnolia, a little overgrown. And so is the cedar. But all right, let me wrap around to the other side. Kind of interesting. You've got headers kind of distinctly surrounded with mortar. I don't know if you can see that, just kind of a weird random thing. They seem to be in a little bit of a pattern, but maybe that's just kind of the architect's little special touch. But down there we've got the Undercroft. Okay, so I'll also tell you 1882, Mrs. Graham Howison started an African American school. And the Howisons, pretty big family in the area. You've got a John Howison that lived over at Brayhead Manor. I've got a video on that, just I don't know, 4 or 5 miles from here. And then you had a Jane Howison Beale that lived a few blocks over. She was born in the house that's across the street from the Mary Washington house. And yeah, obviously it looks the same on this side as the other. Oh yeah, so here again, the education building. Looks like there's something going on. I've seen several people going in and out of that today. Looks like just offices are in there. And the local Masons Lodge, it looks like. 1880, April 29th, laid by the Fredericksburg Lodge. Okay, cool. All right, I'll just wrap around and take one last look at this church building. Right back there, it says Presbyterian Church. Yeah, again, not a whole lot of information on this place, but like I said, I had a viewer who was strongly requesting this one, and also I know I have a lot of Fredericksburg residents who watch my channel, probably wanted, probably like to know a little information on this thing. So I'm walking behind that church house, and you can see a little sign right there. But yeah, plenty of dormers going across that thing, and you can see this building was added on to the left. So let me wrap around. I can tell you the Pratt family lived in that house, and actually that's Hanover Street. I think I pointed in the wrong direction earlier, but yeah, a lot of nice homes. That was one of the nicer streets in Fredericksburg at the time. Okay, so over here we've got it says church members and guests, and pretty shoddy brickwork here, but I don't know if this was a maybe garage that was bricked in, but yeah, you see different pattern over here to the left. All right, well, there's a garage entrance right there. All right. That building says established 1922. But yeah, we're walking up on George Street right now. On the corner here, we've got the Fredericksburg Masonic Cemetery. I made a video on that a while back if you want a more detailed look. And that tomb right there, that's for a John Minor. He lived on Lower Caroline Street. He saw action in the War of 1812. There's also a General George Wheaton from the Revolutionary War. In the back corner, many prominent figures, prominent kind of local Fredericksburg figures buried in there. And over here, 1844, this is the manse, part of this little complex of buildings for the church. Okay, so that was built shortly after this, 1837, the middle house. And up here is going to be the church house. Okay, there's a little write-up right here. Okay, little basement entrance. So you got a raised basement down there. And a little shade garden over here in memory of Julia Richmond. Shout out. All right. And yeah, church house. Yeah, same building, 1837. All right, so over here we've got some Ionic columns holding up the portico. And I always mention the capitals there in the Scamozzi style. When you see the little scrolls splayed out at a 45-degree angle. So pretty fancy there, little kind of egg and dart, little pattern right between the scrolls. And pretty medallions under the cornice, medallions up there. Okay, all right, so one last look. Again, really nice bell tower. And across the street, we've got some high-dollar apartments. Check it out. Pretty nice to live up there. And I'll also mention this is the old Farmers Bank, home of John Washington, freed slave that led a big emancipation across the Rappahannock River while the Stafford Heights were being occupied by Union forces. About 10,000 people crossed altogether. And it's now the foodie restaurant. And that's going to wrap it up for the Fredericksburg Presbyterian Church. As always, like and subscribe. See you guys.